saying welcome. This is our third session of the Ag Career Explorer Q&A series. This is in collaboration with El Centro FFA, their Career Success Committee. So we appreciate the work that they're doing to find these presenters. But why are we doing that? We want to make sure that you all have access to learning about the ag careers that are available, not just in Imperial County, but across the world. So this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it directly affects all of us in every day of our life, from the food that we're eating to the clothes that we're wearing. And USDA put out a report that from 2015 to 2020, that there were more jobs available in ag and food systems than there were graduates. Here in California, California is the #1 ag state. So we produce over 400 different commodities just here in California, and we produce over 100 different commodities just here in Imperial County. So in 2016, the ag commissioners put out a report just kind of showing what impact agriculture has on our county. And agriculture contributes $4.5 billion to our economy. So it is a big industry and a lot of opportunities that right here in our Imperial Valley. So we encourage you all to, explore the world. If you want to go to trade school or go to college or get experience outside of the Valley, that's wonderful. But we encourage you to come back here to Imperial County because there are a lot of opportunities within the agriculture field. And I am going to introduce our presenter today, Mr. Steven McFaddin. We welcome you to the Ag Careers Q&A, and I'm going to go ahead and let you unmute and take it away and tell us about yourself and what you do.
All right, so just a quick introduction of myself. I am 4th generation in Imperial Valley. I was born and raised. I currently reside in Yuma, though. But most of my current production or everything that I've done in my career has always been in Imperial Valley. Imperial Valley will always be home. So just to give a little bit of background about myself, I do have an associate's degree from Imperial Valley College, an awesome college, which many of you will attend. I highly recommend going to college, and IVC is always a great start. When I went there, they had 2 degrees available. It was General Ag Associates and an Ag Business degree, and that's what I currently have, is an agricultural business degree. And I've worked on several different farms, from being a foreman to just being general labor, running tractors, baling, spending long nights, irrigating. When I was foreman, I grew several different crops: onions, carrots, alfalfa, Bermuda, and all those other good stuff that many of you know. So, and just to give you guys a little bit of introduction into the company, we do what's called soil moisture monitoring. And soil moisture monitoring is very important because we all know where our water comes from is out of the Colorado River through the All-American Canal and the Highline Canal, the Capella Canal, and all those other major canal systems that gets flooded. And we have to, as we progress in our farming technology, we have to make it, we have to monitor it more because still our water is maintained. So my company is trying to help monitor all that. So we got several different sites in Imperial Valley, but I'll get through that. GroGuru, we are nationwide company. We have a lot of systems in what we call the Corn Belt, which is northern Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. We have probably 2 of the best agronomists that are on our team. One is Dr. David Sloan, and the other is our senior agronomist, Alex Breckenridge. Both of them are highly skilled in soil moisture monitoring. Have been doing it for a long time, and they're wonderful guys. Our main systems that we deploy, we have a wireless underground system, and it has a soil moisture probe that's hooked up, and we can wirelessly monitor exactly underneath the soil. So, and then we can collect that data 365 days. Our battery packs and everything last a long time underneath the ground with modern technology. This is what kind of a little introduction of what it may look like. We have a battery life of 5 years. Most soil probes, if you guys are not familiar with them, they stick them in the ground and they have to be annually removed and installed to collect once they harvest and everything else like that, they're in the way. And my company has developed a new system. Okay, so this is how everything works. We put what we call our Badger, which is down here underneath the ground, and it has a 4-foot probe. That's an AquaCheck probe that we put in the ground, and it wirelessly hooks up through a lower radio system, not necessarily Bluetooth. It's a little bit different. It'll be kind of more similar to your 2-way radios, but it runs on a radio frequency. And it goes up to our Fox station, which is right here, and it relays it back to where our base unit is, and that could be anywhere a couple miles away, wherever the farmer has has a shop or anything like that, and it goes all the way into the cloud. And in that cloud, you can collect the data and it'll show what is happening. And so you can make smarter irrigations, conserve water. One thing that we don't do is tell the farmer when to irrigate. Just to give you another show of this is what it'll look like above ground. This is the fox, and that's the base over there. And somewhere right here in this, where these flags are, is where we put our badger, and that's where the probe is. This is how we install it, and we got to make a little slurry, and it comes down, and we got to press it down. The reason we do a slurry of mud and water, we don't want any airspace. Any air collects in between there, it'll give bad readings. So we got to make sure we do everything precise and how we do it. So this is a quick little install. More pictures of how it'll look underneath the ground. This one's on a drip line. You can see that we want the probe right there next to the drip. So just to kind of go, we can put it in any soil medium or anything like that. That'll, and it can be in 100% water as well. So that way it kind of shows you more installs. This is in an alfalfa field. And then this is what the data will kind of look like. So when we're collecting the data, the plant will actually talk to you and see, we can do all this, and it's kind of like a similar, we have it set up to where it's like a fuel gauge, red being bad, yellow being moderate or not so good, green being the optimum zone, and blue being too wet. So, we have different parameters that we can put it on for each individual crop. And we can see that what the crop is doing during day and night. So drinking during the day, taking away that soil moisture profile down, and then resting at night, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then when you have an irrigation, the cycle starts over. And then this kind of shows you like each individual sensor that's on the probe itself, and it gives you a little bit more data to each individual depth. As you can see, the orange one is the farthest one down, and it's not as active because there is less moisture. But obviously the 16-inch, which is right here, a lot more action going on towards the top of the soil. So we come back over here, and this is what it'll actually look like to the farmer. And you can see we have a different little way it's set up. And as you can see, this green zone where we want our optimum growing, it actually tapers down. And the reason is for that is when we get into harvest, we actually, we want it to actually stress itself, so the plant will actually produce. So it'll actually taper down. And the other thing we can do is we can monitor soil temperatures, soil salinity. And so we got to especially measure salt here in Imperial Valley. As many might know, that salt is prevalent in our water because when it travels out of the Colorado, it collects all the sediment and everything else out. And I am the sales technician currently at this company. I sell these to the farmers, and I also install them and train them on how to read the data. And there's my information there. On my personal side, what's brought me to this is I got really heavily involved with what we call Imperial County YFNR, which is a little subgroup of Farm Bureau. So I got involved with Imperial County YFNR. Even though you have a degree and everything else and you have all this training, but what do you do with that information? Well, this is where Imperial County YFNR can help. So it's anybody between the ages of 18 and 35 are more than welcome to join. And it's just a networking, kind of a social aspect of everybody getting together, talking about ags and doing everything else, that's involved with it. So, we do fun events. Next week we're having a social event over there in Hopeville, and we do farm tours, and you get to learn more. And, it's kind of like FFA, where we get to come in and present, and we have farmers come and talk, and we get to talk about everything that's going on in the world. So it's a good deal. And the way I got this job was because of YFNR. One of my buddies that's in it, our current treasurer, contacted me and said, hey, these guys are looking for somebody that's involved in the area. You reach out to them. Well, I got hired on and everything else, and we now I'm growing a relationship further. So ways to get yourself out there, let people know who you are, get involved. Like FFA. Well, what happens after high school? Get involved with social groups and college, activities and doing everything else like that, and networking, getting yourself out there. You got to sell yourself, not, just, I have a piece of paper that says I think I know something. But college is a great way to do that.
I have a question. So you talked about YFNR, and just to clarify for those that aren't familiar, it's Young Farmers and Ranchers. So he's part of the Imperial County division of YFNR. But is there YFNR outside of Imperial County?
Yes, there is YFNR outside of Imperial Valley. So we are nationwide, because just like Farm Bureau is nationwide. I am also on the state committee for California. So I get to go to San Francisco and all these other different places and do farm tours and meet people there, and another great networking opportunity as well. So it's not just, Imperial Valley, it's nationwide. So don't feel like, oh, I'm going to a big college somewhere and I don't know anybody. this is a great way to meet people and get yourself out there and be around people that are like-minded.
It's associated with Farm Bureau. So being in Young Farmers and Ranchers, you also have that connection to your Farm Bureau as well.
Would your company or yourself be open to any type of, do they have like job shadowing opportunities or any kind of mentorship opportunities available for someone who is interested in this kind of field?
Yes, if anybody wants to come spend a day with me and see what I do, they're more than welcome to. You guys can reach out and I'd be more than happy to. We also are deploying on Monday. We are going to have the Imperial Valley Research over there in Brawley. They're going to have a demo site. So if you guys want to meet over there, we're going to have some sensors in the ground and we can show it to you and show you what's going on. Right now we're going to be putting in sugar beets. So it's a little bit different data of what we normally do. So it'll be really kind of interesting to see how that goes.
I'm just curious, what you touched on at the beginning is, some of the other careers you've had. Did you go to college and have a degree in agriculture? What kind of jobs have led you to where you are now?
When I was in high school, I was a lifeguard, and then I did that for 7 years, total time. It was way into 20s that I did that. So I think I was a lifeguard till I was 23. My dad actually discouraged me from getting into ag, but being in Imperial Valley, there's only select few things that you can do with that or that are around us. So, all my friends and everything were doing it. And so I didn't know what to do. So when I went to IVC, that's where all my friends were taking classes. And so that's what led me into this. I actually never did FFA or 4-H or anything like that, but all my friends did. And I kicked myself in the butt that I never did it. And, it's definitely, you guys are on the right track. You guys are getting a way bigger head start than I ever did. But after IVC, I moved away to Utah and attended Utah State University. I did not graduate from there, and I regret it all the time. I'm trying to get back into school. Just a lot of different things happened, but it was probably the greatest experience. And so it's, going into that, it's been a detriment, but, it's going to take me a little bit longer. So I'm going to emphasize that you guys go to college, get the training in, learn and meet people and do things that way. It was a lot of, working with different farmers and getting out there, because everybody wants you to be 25 with 30 years experience. So it's, you got to have the hands-on experience as well as, the book knowledge and understanding what's actually going on and being able to, read, write, and all that.
I just want to put out a shout out for that too. I think junior college is a great way to go, especially if you want to stay locally in the area. And if you need to work while you're going to college, junior college is a great way to go. And like I said, get that experience that people want.
Yeah, so I do encourage that. Going to, IVC is a cheaper route and it gets you and it gets your foot in the door a little bit easier, instead of paying $10,000 a semester, you're only a couple $1,000s in. And then you can also live at home and not have to eat top ramen every night. I can tell you 24 different ways to cook top ramen. It's not fun. So, guys, I encourage I'm not discouraging you guys from going to your freshman year of college or anything like that, because I know a lot of people that did, they graduated when they were 22 and are doing a lot better than I am. I'm getting a later start than everybody else. But I will also encourage you guys, well, what do you guys do during the summer months? So go out there, get yourself a tractor driving job, running a baler, doing anything else, get out there, get involved, shadow a PCA, which is a pest control advisor. They go out there and check for bugs, do everything else like that. Get that hands-on experience, because employers will look for that as well, not just your degree, but they want both.
Did college ever get hard for you?
Yes, it did. College was extremely hard. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. So, actually sitting down and getting in front of the book and actually reading was very difficult for me. But, where I excelled in was, your labs and everything else like that. It was being studious and getting in and, struggling with, writing essays and what to write about were always the most difficult for me. I was better at the math and doing everything else like that and then more hands-on kind of learning, which is also another great aspect of going to like an ag college where you actually get the hands-on experience and you can do real, trials and demos of what they're doing. And the other thing that was nice about going to a university is that the professors themselves are the ones that wrote the book. And so they're not just, when you're at high school, no discredit to any high school professors or teachers, is that, they're reading something that somebody else wrote. And that's the curriculum. Where you go to university, the guy that's teaching you is the same one that wrote the book or did all the research and did everything else like that. And it's nice to get that hands-on experience and you can ask questions and everything else like that. But when I had difficulty in classes is that when they have after class, they had student aides that would come and help and doing everything else like that. These are grad students that can help you, and they take full advantage of those.
Yeah, so we are at our ending time. Thank you so much for joining us today, Steven. We appreciate learning about GroGuru and learning about you and your experiences and your recommendations. So if you have any other further questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can get them over to Steven and connect you. But once again, thank you everyone for joining us and have a great afternoon.
All right, thank you guys. Really appreciate your time.